So over the last year, many residents have stood at that podium and questioned the speed with which the Hunter Tier Lot affordable housing development was moving. In particular, when you compare it to other priorities, it seems to have moved pretty fast. Residents have asked for a slower, more transparent process. They have asked many fair and reasonable questions for which there have been few answers. While I acknowledge that housing affordability is a major problem for all communities across the state and country, I do believe that it is our responsibility as elected officials to look at ways we can legally impact the housing concerns through multiple paths and strategies. I've also questioned the process that we either did or did not follow. I've questioned why we've been so set to give away this property and why one particular developer appeared to be favored. In the last meeting, the board unanimously agreed to allow the village attorney to start negotiating with both developers. Since that time, information has come to light. To me, directly, it did not come to the entire board. And if I had this information sooner, I would not have voted at that time, and I might have asked for the RFP to be avoided or insisted that no negotiations begin. Since that meeting, I've learned some disturbing information about the particular proposal that warrants additional investigation and at the very least appears to be unethical. I'm going to share just a piece of what I have out of respect for the crowd so that we can move a little bit more quickly. So I'm going to paraphrase. In July of 2021, Hunter Tier with village officials took a tour of our municipal parking lots, and they came back with an email that said, the Hunter Tier parking lot is far and away the #1 choice. And then they went on to describe their thoughts on the other sites. They also asked the question about whether or not they could put someone forward to fill a planning board spot. There were emails back and forth from July of 2021 till today. In January of 2022, an RFP draft was submitted to West Hub for technical assistance. By the time we got the actual RFP in 2023, there had been several changes. One of them was a quote, which I'm not going to be able to quote correctly right now, but it basically says that heavier weight will be given to an affordable housing developer who has worked in the village of Mamaroneck. We only have one. Another one was that there had originally been a request to put government offices in, I believe, to move us out of the regatta space and into a new space. That was removed. An item that said increased public parking was changed to provide public parking. So that's just a quick example. I'm going to skip through to a few other emails. West Hab was in an email where they and our prior village manager made the comments, want to keep the momentum going here so we can make our vision a reality. We want to make this work and don't want time to run out on the mayor's time in office. In 2022, there was an email that said, hope we can look to any new trustees to support our mission. There were a number of follow-ups from that January draft RFP. And even when they didn't get a response, they continued to ask us if we wanted any more help on it. There were reviews of RFPs that were much more detailed. None of them were used. In July of 2022, our village manager sent emails out saying, if you don't know, the BOT will be changing 2 members this cycle. We need to be ready for more receptive BOT right out of the gate. In another email, the changing of the composition of the Board of Trustees will make things clearer. And before I go further, I am not accusing anyone on this board of doing anything wrong. I am sharing with you statements and emails from people who don't work here anymore, okay? There were emails that were sent from, Board of Education or anyone in the school board who were then forwarded to other groups for review. In October of 2023, our former mayor sent out an email called Debunking the Latest Misinformation, where he said, we're asking that the new building provides the village with approximately the same number of parking spaces that the Hunter lot currently contains. However, that was never included in the RFP, therefore it was not going to happen in any of the proposals. There's an email from our village manager to West Hab saying, I look forward to our anticipated partnership, and that was in December of 2023. So I have several pages here. I'm not going to read it. I have copies available if somebody wants to take them later. But in the research that I've seen, West Hab was involved in this process from the selection of the property to helping with the draft RFP until now. And I want to be very clear about a couple of things. Every single person on this board, and that includes me, we do understand there's a crisis with affordable housing. I'm not going to argue that with anybody. Anyone who's come to me and said that there isn't, I have had conversations. That's not what's under fire here. That's not what's in question. It's whether or not the process for this RFP was ethical, unethical, or even worse. And just the appearance of impropriety adds to the divide that we have in this community when we need to come together because we have safety issues, we have flooding, and we do have an affordability crisis. We all know that. If you have a house here, you know it's less affordable to live here. If you're trying to move in, you know it's less affordable, and it's harder to move in here. So this is not me saying I don't want affordable housing, because I don't want that coming back later that that's what the point was. The point is the process seems flawed. And as I have more information, I will share that with you.